Hey everyone, it's Jess. So it's been a few weeks since I did one of these update videos looking at the difference in my traffic and impressions and listing views on eBay.com versus .ca. So if you haven't seen the first two videos, I did one at the end of November. Sorry, that's the dog. And one on December 7th. And I was just looking at what I had noticed was a really interesting trend in a huge bump in overall listing impressions and traffic on my .ca store, which kind of went against like all of my theories around how eBay works, or what I've thought for years and years about how it works. So that was pretty interesting, and I was kind of following the data. I didn't do weekly updates just because it was the holidays and we were kind of slowing things down again, but I thought I would come back and look at this with you again. So I'm going to do kind of a 30, because it's been almost 30 days since I did a video like this. We'll look at 30 days and 7 days traffic and listing views on .com and .ca. So what you're seeing here is eBay.com, and this is our last 7 days. So starting right after Christmas. And the interesting thing here is impressions are relatively constant. We don't see a huge variation in overall impressions. A little more than half of the traffic is from promoted listings, which is, I think, a slight increase over the last video. Listing views a little bit less consistent. We're seeing what looks like to be a little bit bigger bump in external listing views, and I'm not actually sure why, because I don't pay for eBay offsite. I don't pay for promoted offsite. So I guess there might be some Google indexing happening, and that might be accounting for this. I'm not sure. Anyway, the overall impressions, 302,000 in 7 days, that is up over the 7-day period that I looked at the beginning of November. Could be just that a lot of people get cash for Christmas as gifts and then they come online and spend it. That might account for that. There's a much bigger bump on .ca 7-day views. When I did this video last from around like November 30th to December 7th was 700 and some thousand impressions. Now here we have December 26th to January 2nd, 1.2 million impressions. So still seeing like a pretty huge bump. And if we look at the last 30 days of impressions on .ca, 3.5 million since December 3rd. And that's pretty huge. It is volatile. At least the sales quantity is volatile. The impressions more consistent. We do see an increase here in views from promoted listings. Around the middle of the month, I did restart a die-cast promoted listings campaign that I hadn't realized had ended. So I put that back in, and I think that that's what's accounting for this increase. I only promote, I've mentioned this before, but on .ca, I only promote die-cast cars, hats, clothing, and accessories. On .com, I promote basically everything. So still seeing a really big bump here. I would expect this to drop off in January as reality kind of sets in and people get out of holiday mode. I'm relatively happy with the sales conversion rate of 1.2%. It's remained consistent. I know a lot of you will think that that's pretty low, and I agree, it is very low. It is partly because we are everything sellers. And I will also say that the vast majority of listings that I have on .ca are older items because they're things that I brought over from .com when I did my big .com to .ca cross-listing project in September and October. So what we're seeing here is probably a fair amount of long tail items. I've also put things significantly on sale, and that's helped to move some of those older items. So this is fine. I'm actually totally fine with this, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what it does. Let's go back to eBay.com and bump this back to 30 days. And I didn't script this or really have too many notes or specific things that I wanted to say. So I'm just going to kind of look at it and comment on it in real time. The sales conversion rate did drop from the previous period that I did back in the end of November, beginning of December. And we're seeing, if we look at this, it looks like more impressions are coming from promoted listings than prior. So for whatever reason, that's increasing. I'm not sure why. I don't really care. I haven't been listing a whole lot on eBay over the month of December just because we haven't been working as much, and we took a little bit of a break from acquisition as well over the holidays. As you know, we source a lot of our inventory from junk companies. So They were not so busy over the Christmas holidays. And we were distracted doing other things, seeing friends and family. So not as much sourcing going on, therefore not as much listing and not as much work in general. So that kind of maybe accounts for it. But nevertheless, sales were not, I'm going to say not terrible, but actually they were terrible. The month of December was down. I've forgotten now what the number was, but I think it was over 40% over the prior December 2024. So still frustrated to see that huge drop in overall sales, and I'm hoping that my efforts to post more items on .com in the new year is going to assist with that overall sales conversion rate. Well, I know the externalities are tough. The economy is tough. People are definitely pulling back on spending, and I think we can really see that in the collectibles market. Nevertheless, a lot of the barriers and the obstacles to sales, I think, are because I've put so many listings on .ca. I still have 2/3 on .ca and 1/3 on .com. So I'm hoping to get that back to half and half by, I don't know, maybe by the spring. We actually have a huge project that we're going to be working on in 2026. I'm not quite ready to announce it yet, although some people in the eBay e-commerce reseller Facebook group will already know what it is. But it is something that is going to take us away from the business quite a bit. Starting in the summertime and into the fall. So I really I'm really motivated to put quite a lot of effort into getting our .com back to at least, half and half. So half my listings are .com and half my listings are .ca. If I can get it to more than half, that would be great. But by May, we're going to start being pretty distracted by some other things. So I have kind of to work quickly and get to my short-term goals around this. So yeah, interestingly enough, like we do see this a decent little bump in traffic. It's a little more volatile, a little bit bigger right around the Christmas holiday. And I guess this is just because people are, spending more time away from work, and maybe they're just browsing on their phones. And so we just see that. And the quantity sold is oddly quite volatile for whatever reason. This big bump on December 30th, we did have a really huge sale that went to one single buyer. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And I think that's what's showing there. And if we look at the .com quantity sold over the last 30 days, actually some gaps here, which I really hate to see. But, overall, just, a couple of items a day on .com versus usually three on the low end up to, 10 or more on a good day. So some volatility on .ca, more consistency on .com, but much less quantity sold. I don't know. So that's what it's looking like, and I'll continue to watch it into January and February, and I'm really hoping to see those impressions and that traffic on .com start to bump back up again as I start to put more listings there. So that's all. I would love to hear your comments if you have any. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to the podcast at youtube.com/@StorageWarriorPodcast. The longer you stay in these videos, the better it is for the channel. So I really appreciate you being here and spending your time. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Want more videos like this? Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to tell me what you want to see more of.